So what's up everybody? So I just got back from a shoot and I feel like it'd be a good idea to show you guys my workflow for editing inside Camera Raw. So let's go. Alright, so let's get this started. So what I have here is a batch of photos that I took of my friend, and what we're gonna do is simply just go over each and every single one and pick out the best ones. So a way I do that is by using Adobe Bridge, and this is the software that I use to pretty much select which are the ones that I like. So now we're getting somewhere with these pictures, and the way we did this is by using a diffuser, and we angled it so that we can leverage the sunlight to brighten up the bottom parts of his face. Keep going here. So a way I go about selecting my images is by marking them. So what I actually do is just color code them, and a shortcut for that is 6. So now as you can see we have a red dot on the picture that we have selected. You can also rate them via stars. I prefer color coding them though. Wow. Wow. Hold up, mate. I think I found the one. Let's go over here. So now that I have my photos selected, what I like to do is filter them out. So I go into this filter setting over here button, and I just click on show labeled items only. So then that way I know for sure that these were my favorite ones. But I really like this one. This one seems to be my favorite one. So let's go and start editing this one a little further. So I right click, open a Camera Raw. So what I like to do first is go over here into the lens correction and just pretty much click on the enable profile corrections. That way it can just self-adjust in case there's like a warping effect. So what tends to happen is that when you shoot at around 24 millimeters or less in the lens for the camera, you start to get this weird effect, this like weird distortion effect. You see it a lot in real estate photography. And so what I'm doing here is that by enabling my profile corrections, it kind of just flans out the image a little bit more, so it kind of reduces that warping effect. At least that's what I've noticed when I click this button. Now, after that's done, what I like to do is just go in there and have a quick, or I like to go in there and play around with my exposure settings. So again, we're not editing the skin yet. We're just mainly going in there and just making sure that the picture looks clear and bright, and yeah. So let's get this started. This might take a while though. So here at the bottom right, you have some options to look at the picture differently. So here it says cycle between before and after views, or you can just hit the Q button. And so on the left side, we're presented with how the picture came out straight off the camera, and now here on the right side we have what we're editing. So now that we have the exposure corrected, let's go ahead and start editing the colors a little further. So let's see. So up next, what I like to do is click on detail and kind of just reduce some noise. Doesn't have to be a lot, could be a little bit, but if we go all the way, everything starts looking a bit fake to me. So it's best to not overdo it. Also, it looks kind of plasticky. And okay, then after that's done, we go into the hues. This is where we begin to have more of a color correction aspect. So here we can fix the reds. So I want as much attention to his face in general. So I have to keep in mind that when I'm coloring these, I have to make sure not to really emphasize a lot of the background or a lot of the reflection that's going on inside his neck. So that's one thing I gotta keep in mind of. So when you're editing your photographs, and you want to make sure that your subject has a much more emphasis on, you also have to keep in mind your colors as well. Make sure they're not too distracting to the viewer. Okay, so wow, big difference, right? We've come such a long way, and I think I'm really liking where this is going. The colors are there, the background is blurred out, and after you're done with all these adjustments, you can also save them as a preset for future uses. So here, let me show you real quickly how to save your presets. So first, you go under this tab called presets, and remember, you're using all of this information here, and what you gotta do is simply just click this little button here, a little page that says new preset. Click on it, and then just tell camera roll what is it that you want to save. You want to save the white balance, all these settings, which again are under each respective tab. I'm just gonna call it portrait fix, and today's date. What's today's date? Month and year, actually, so I don't feel old. And well, that's it. Now that we have a corrected image, let's compare it to how it came out straight off the camera. And as you can see, this big difference is amazing. Does it look more lively? Please let me know down in the comments. But again, this is just my way of coloring. Everyone else has their own different style. Okay, so now once we're done with color correcting and adjusting all the exposure, let's start getting in there and start editing the image itself for what it is. So what do I mean by that? So we did the exposure, we've done coloring, but what about the other nuances that you see in the picture? See, like that top left highlight over there, or simply just go in there and perfect it a little bit more. So we click on open image. So now this takes us to Photoshop, and what I like to do is that once Photoshop brings over the image, I tend to copy it over, to make a copy of it, so then that way we can go back and use that as reference to kind of just compare how far we've come. Okay, so then now let's talk about what are some of the things I would like to edit. So highlights here, pretty much all these highlights, I want to condense them more. After that, what I want to do is maybe make the background a little bit more blurry. But as you can see, the depth of field starts to get blurry in the back. I just kind of want to emphasize it a little bit more, just a notch, not a lot, and perhaps even get rid of some acne here, just to show you how I would go about it. Okay, so once you have your picture selected, if I hide the layer underneath it, you'll see that now I'll have my spots here erased. But what I want to edit are the spots that are already erased. So a way to invert it, the mask selection, is that I just press Control I, and that way we just focus on the highlights that I want to fix, that I want to tone down a bit. Under the adjustments tabs, there's a setting there called the exposure, and simply what I like to do is mess around with these settings, but at the same time I have to right click it and create a clip-in mask. The clip-in mask just pretty much attaches all those adjustments towards that mask, right? Because usually if I don't do this, then whatever I fix on the exposure layer, it will affect everything else underneath. So I don't want to do that. I just want to focus on what I selected in the mask, hence clipping mask. You're attaching the effects to it, to the mask underneath it. Hopefully that's clear. If not, I can certainly do a more tutorial on how these things work. Bam, there it is. Easy edit, right? Don't look, and ready? Turn it around, look again. Huh? See a difference? No. Maybe I'm just crazy, but pretty much what we did was essentially just tone down the highlights from the background, and that way we can focus more on the subject. Now that that's done, something else I would like to fix is the acne, and this is a tool in Photoshop that I think is pretty dangerous. It's called the spot healing brush tool. Bam, gone. Bam, gone. There we go. Wow. And there we go. We've got rid of some of the acne. Again, I just used this to simply show you guys how easy it is to use the spot healing tool. something else I want to focus more is the background. And now let's put everything here in one folder in a group. Now, one way to do that is by selecting all your layers and then just pressing Command G. Simple as that. And then last but not least, a basic crop, because again, we want as much emphasis into the portrait, right? We don't want to see, that's a lot of headroom, right? It's a lot of space on the top and on the sides as well. We want to focus as much on his face as possible. So what I want to do is a quick crop. Just get in there, And now we just that's pretty much it for this picture. I think that looks pretty good. And now let's get into a quick call with the person who is inside that photograph. Let's see what he thinks. Hey dude, so I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of get your reaction on the edit that I've made, because I just had like this whole recording session on like how I go about editing photographs. So
Yeah.
you think you can go into the Google Drive link I sent you to just see how it came out? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it looks good.
Awesome, dude. What can you tell me about it? Like, what do you like about it?
I like the green in the back.
But you see how like now we have more attention to your face, and
Yeah.
we reduced the exposure on those leaves that I told you earlier about.
Yeah. I see. There's no highlights. Like it doesn't take away from the face. So, yeah, I think you did a good job, like positioning me with the lighting, everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Thank you so much for your feedback, and thanks for letting me call you for this reaction. Appreciate it.
See you later.
All right, take it easy.
Alright, you too. Bye.
Bye. Just to review, I go in there into Adobe Bridge, I select the ones I like. After I label them, I give them my stars. Images in a bridge, we transfer them over to Camera Raw, where we flatten the image a little further, and then we start adjusting the exposure settings. We then go ahead and fix the color corrections on. And then after the color corrections, we do the final step and bring it over to Photoshop, where we apply the finishing touches and kind of just reduce and take out things that we don't want in the photograph, and we have a finished product. So thank you so much for joining me in this session. It was very fun to edit these pictures. It's been 2 hours. I can't believe time flies so fast, especially when you're having fun. Again, would like to appreciate you for watching this video, and I hope you like my workflow. It's been very helpful to me, and I hope you've learned something out of it. So yeah, I appreciate it so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll just catch you in the next one. Peace.